Hey, thanks for watching Chittarupa Yoga and Fitness. I'm Laura Wilson, ACE Certified Personal Trainer. Today, we're going to look at our plank. We're going to look at it as a yoga pose, but also as a nice core exercise. We're going to look at some variations with some modifications, and then we're going to look at holding each of our variations for about 20 seconds each. So you're going to get a couple of minutes of planking in this video today. All right, let's go ahead and just look at the basics of our plank. When we are, I'm going to go ahead and do these on the floor. Same principles will apply if you're using a chair. We want to make sure that our wrists and shoulders are lined up. It's called stacking our joints. So let's begin, hands and knees, or if we're in a chair, we'll hinge forward, standing on our feet, but our hands will be in the chair just like this. Making sure that we have them shoulder distant. All right, so we don't want them in too close. We don't want them too wide. We want them in shoulder distant. And again, we want shoulders over wrists, so that we don't want to start our plank way out here, especially if we're in our side plank. We don't want this misalignment here. We want our joints stacked, shoulder over wrist. All right, so let's begin here, lifting and holding through our navel. Also, this is going to be a little different than you're used to. You're used to being told to squeeze the shoulder blades together and toward the hips. What we want to do is separate out like we're in our cat pose. So let's go ahead and come to our cat. Let's do a little cat and cow to warm up. And then we'll come to our cat. So separating our shoulder blades, lifting through our chest, lifting through our navel. And then we'll step back. So this is our full plank right here. Lifting and holding. Now we have the option of coming to our knees, if this is new for us, or a bit of a challenge. Let's go ahead and take a break for a moment in whichever variation we're doing. Opening our chest here, or more intensely, grasping our hands behind our back. So let's say our wrists are what's giving us trouble. We have the option to do our plank on our forearms. Same principles apply, stacking our joints. We want to begin with our elbows underneath our shoulders. So one trick that we can do to make sure we've got that alignment is to take hold of our upper arms. That is going to be our shoulder distance. So that's one way to find the shoulder distance. And then we're going to separate out, forearms parallel. Spread the fingers wide. And again, let's take it to our cat pose. Lifting here, stepping back onto our toes. So forearm plank on our toes, or forearm plank on our knees. Now let's go ahead and take that rest. We can take child's pose perhaps, or we can sit up and open our chest in some other fashion, especially if we find ourselves sinking in our pose. Let's explore the concepts of our side planks. So I'm going to show the modified version of a side plank first. And that begins with our joints stacked. What we want to do is slide one foot off the mat like a kickstand. And then we're going to roll up, taking our other foot down. So we've got a hand, a knee, and a foot all lined up. Meanwhile, this knee and hip are still lined up, and this shoulder and wrist are still lined up. So we can take this arm up. We can keep it here if our shoulder feels better here. We also have a variation of lifting our foot. Wherever we are, let's make sure that we're drawing in and up through our navel, all right? So we would have the same concept on the other side. Start stacked, slide the foot off like a kickstand, line that foot up, hand, knee, foot, hip and knee, shoulder, wrist, here or here, maybe here. All right, let's release from there. Shake it out. So we have the same variation if we want to look at it on our forearms, if our wrists don't like going there, except here we're going to slide that foot off, take the forearm forward. so that when we open up, everything is lined up properly if we want to take this here. And of course, this hip is going to come out a little bit just because we're down a little lower. Personally, if you're going to do a side plank on the knees, I prefer that we go here. If we're going to be on the forearm, then we want to line up hips, our knees, hips, and shoulder, and then lift up from here, lifting from here. All right, so that's another variation we can look at. Woo, let's release from there, shake it out, and then we'll look at our full side plank. I think we'll start on this side, even things out for me. So full side plank begins in the regular plank, and we're just going to roll the feet over. Now we have options of stacking our feet, lifting the top foot, but let's make sure that we're lifting here. Bring it down, and again, just slide over to the other side. And let's take a little break. Child's pose, downward dog. Opening our chest. So, are we ready? Let's do some 20-second intervals of each of these. All right, let's go ahead and begin with just our basic plank. Your choice, depending on wrists, to do this on the hands or on the forearms. I'm going to kind of explore all of them, so if you can, let's start on the wrists, on the hands. All right, so lift into the cat pose. Where's my timer? Let's go ahead and find here, lifting through the navel, and let's go ahead and begin to step back. Now, one thing about it, we can start totally on the knees, totally on the toes, or we can start on the toes, and maybe halfway between, we might find that we need to come to our knees. So mix it up. Find some variations that work for you. Continue to lift through the navel and rest. Child's pose, downward dog, or lifting up, opening the chest. So let's try it on our forearms this time. Let's go ahead and get lined up. Find that cat pose. Step back. And again, start and do it completely on the knees. Start on the toes. And maybe halfway through, switch to the knees. It's up to you how you want to do it. Just a little bit longer. Breathe. And let's breathe out. Open up. All right, let's look at a side plank. I'm going to do it hands and knees. Here we go. Slide off. Side plank on this side. So remember, you can look at variations on the feet and hands. Keep lifting in and up through the navel. Almost there. And release. We're just going to take it to that other side next. Shake it out. Almost there. All right, here we go. Slide the foot off, line it up. Here we go. Lift. Remember the variations. A few more seconds. Try exploring some different things each time, just to keep it fun. And release. All right, let's go back to our straight on plank. See if we can keep our knees up this time. Let's try it on the toes if we didn't before. Line it up, cat, step back. So the other thing is, we have a tendency to lift our hips up. Let's see if we can keep them lined up with our ankles and our shoulders. Again, coming to our knees if we need to, and if we are there, knees, hips, and shoulders, all right? Lifting our navel. Let's take a little break. We're gonna go back to forearms for the next one. Get ready, line it up, forearms parallel, cat pose, and go. See if we can stay on our toes a little bit longer without lifting our hips up. Shoulders staying over elbows. Lift, lift, lift. Coming to the knees if we need to. And release. 2 more side planks on the knees or up in the full thing. Get ready. Here we go. Remember, don't sink. This time we do want to lift our hips. Lift, lift, lift. In and up. Hand wherever it works for us. Yeah, some shaking going on. Whew. This is one I don't do enough. Lift, lift, lift. Hips, hips up. Whew. Bring it down. Quick side stretch. We'll stretch everything out in 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Cat pose. Step back. And here we go. Lift it up. Keep lifting the hips. They want to sink. Keep lifting. Lift, lift, lift. Whew. Arm balances. Get your heart rate up. Help you break a sweat. So if you're getting hot right now, that's what you should be doing. Whew. Bring it down. Quick stretch. Let's come to an easy seat. So yeah, arm balances. Get our heart rate up. So take a few deep breaths through the mouth right here. Whew, they can get intense. Elbows back. Now let's go ahead, hands behind the head, pressing the elbows and our head back. Now we're going to take a side stretch here since we did our side planks. So just an easy stretch. Let's stretch to the other side. Bringing it up and releasing our hands behind our head or behind our back. Opening our chest. See if we can begin to deepen our breath. Excellent. Now let's go ahead and take those side bends again, maybe getting a little deeper this time. Keeping our sitting bones down, however. And be sure to write some comments below the video. Let me know what you think of this one. Let's go to the other side. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up for me. And if you watch regularly, subscribe to the channel. Now let's bring it up. A couple of deep breaths. One more. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time.